creador del Celtic es el hermano Walfrid, practicante en el este de Glasgow. En aquellos tiempos era una sociedad deportiva creada para ayudar a la comunidad irlandesa. Nunca se imaginó que St. Mary's crearía uno de los gigantes del fútbol mundial.
Celtic had a very big decision to take at that time, which was to be a Catholic Irish exclusivist, or else to say, no, we're a Scottish club and we are open to all, and that is the way we want to develop. And very fortuitously they decided on the latter course. So Celtic have always been Irish, and in my view proudly Irish in their origins and connections, but they have never been an exclusivist Catholic Irish club.
El ideal de la no exclusión no fue bien recibido por los creadores de Rangers, quienes se desarrollaron como un club protestante, dirigido por protestantes. Con el paso del tiempo, la idea de Rangers nunca firmaría a un jugador católico fue ganando fuerza. Muy pocos lograron colarse, pero efectivamente había un obstáculo para los católicos dentro de los Rangers. Fue una política que resonaría alrededor de la rivalidad durante años.
Once you have that kind of division, maybe it's inevitable that it polarizes and hardens. And in Glasgow, in the early part of the 20th century, there was another big influx of immigration, which was shipyard workers from the Protestant north of Ireland. So the more they attached themselves to football clubs, then the more these football clubs became identified with that kind of division. And they brought with them the songs and in some cases the prejudices, which certainly intensified the rivalry and the passions for good and very often for ill.
Con tales diferencias, aún se preguntan por qué tanta euforia alrededor de la pasión.
Apart from the very obvious footballing rivalries, there's the religious aspect, which is in many ways not very healthy or helpful.
The problem is that when it goes into other attitudes, from a religious background, then I wish to heck it had never happened. Rivalry is terrific as long as it's healthy. When it becomes unhealthy, then I don't think it does anything for the place.
You're aware of it, and it was never something I was completely comfortable with. It was it wasn't nice. There was, I was actually married to a Catholic girl, and it was not something I was ever brought up with. It wasn't. I was from Edinburgh, and in the west of Scotland, that's a bigger deal. In Edinburgh, it wasn't an issue.
Algunos de los incidentes incluyen una invasión de los hinchas después de la final de Copa del 80. Intentos de prohibir el alzar de banderas irlandeses por parte de los hinchas del Celtic en el 52. Esto falló. Después que los hinchas invadieran el campo del Camp Nou, el técnico del Rangers, Willie Waddle, se disculpó frente al estadio desde el círculo central de Ibrox, diciendo que estaría dispuesto a firmar un católico con el Rangers. Pero nunca nadie llegó. El sentimiento era, esto ya es suficiente, y los clubes unieron fuerzas para atacar el sectarismo cara a cara.
Regrettably, it's part of Scottish society, but you have to keep battling away to drive it down, and I think over the last few years there's definitely been massive progress made that way. A lot of sectarian singing has been all but drowned out now at Ibrox and at Parkhead.
They've made great strides together to try and make sure that it's about supporting your club and giving the best for your club only.
There's so many joint initiatives between the teams to beat the sectarianism and the prejudices that are there. If you look back in the 80s when there were riots at games and various things at cup finals, etc., you would have to say then it wasn't healthy, but I think over the last 2 decades both clubs have made massive efforts to progress, you know, with Fergus McCann's Boys Against Bigotry, the Rangers programme Pride Over Prejudice, which I think have made, you know, big steps towards zoning out the sectarianism and the bigotry in the home grounds.
It exists and it has to be addressed. And if football is the repository for these attitudes, then football has a responsibility to make clear that it has no truck with them.
¿Qué tanto ha funcionado este esfuerzo dentro de la comunidad? Las cosas cambiaron desde un partido en 1986.
It's a game, but to other folk, it's 90 minutes of pure bigotry. It comes to, no, it's down to religion right through. As far as I'm concerned, the Celtic Rangers game it's inbred. If you're a glass region, but it's you're either one or the other.
Y aunque aún existen elementos de división en las calles de Glasgow, claramente la situación se ha calmado.
I think when it first started, you know, there was a lot of rivalry regarding the kind of sectarianism and things like that, but I think they're trying to kind of whittle that away, and you know, obviously it's kind of a bit better for that. I used to think years ago there used to be 300 or 400 people were arrested at these games, but you don't find that now.
Even all the Celtic fans won't be sectarian based at all, like, you know. It's good fans, a bit of crack, a bit of banter, even with the Rangers ones now, like walking down the road, it's good, it's all a bit of fun, like.
El 7 de abril de 1986 fue un día crucial para Rangers. Graham Souness, de la Sampdoria, entró al club. Él había tenido un tremendo éxito en Liverpool antes de aceptar el puesto de técnico jugador en Ibrox. Pero en esa época resultaba muy difícil complacer a los hinchas del Rangers.
He's an unknown quantity as a manager. He's a rare player. They're not caring about that as long as he doesn't sign Catholics.
Well, as long as a Rangers player goes onto the park and plays a blue shirt and plays for a Rangers team, I don't care who he signs.
We've got our traditions at Ibrox, and we don't want to see them broke for the sake of one man. Soon as or no.
Souness siempre hizo las cosas a su manera y dirigir a Rangers también lo dirigiría a su manera.
The very first question I'm asked when I'm revealed as a new manager at the press conference was, would you sign a Catholic? And I said, how can I marry one and go home to one every night but not work with one? So I think previous managers had answered it in a similar way, that they would always sign, of course they would sign a Catholic, and never ever did.
Souness se mantuvo firme en su palabra. No solo agregó a un católico al equipo, pero reclutó a Mo Johnston, un católico que había jugado para el Celtic. Johnston estaba regresando a Escocia tras un paso por el Nantes en Francia. Se había ido con la promesa de volver al Celtic, pero el trato se terminó. Fue aquí cuando Souness intervino.
We ended up signing Maurice Johnson, not for any other reason, and he was a very, very good football player that we felt would improve our lot. And he was very brave to do it, and I think Rangers have never looked back since we made that brave move.
El contrato fue una noticia chocante. Una vez más los fanáticos del fútbol de la ciudad estaban divididos, pero por lo menos algunos lo veían como un paso adelante.
It's up to the Rangers supporters to welcome the guy when he goes on, and cheer him on, you know, and forget about all the religious barriers. And, you know, see, Maurice Johnston's a Rangers player, and that's the most important thing. Let's give the guy a chance.
He's a good player, but you're Catholic.
I never thought they'd sign a Catholic, especially the one that did sign there, you know. Just unbelievable.
Should have been done years ago. Because, you know, I mean, religion is religion, football is football.
Quite happy to be a Ranger. Everything good for you?
From our part, or from my part, and the club's part, they knew it had to be done. But it wasn't, we didn't target Morris simply because it would break that 118 years of not signing a Catholic. We did it because it was the right thing for football reasons.
Esas razones futbolísticas eran bastante claras y prácticas. La antigua regla significaba que jugadores católicos no podían jugar para Rangers, no importaba que tan buenos eran.
If there was two kids that were the top players in Glasgow, and one was Catholic and one was Protestant, Celtic only had to work on the one who was Protestant, because they knew the Catholic one wouldn't be going to Rangers. That one was in the bag, but the Protestant one was one that they could devote time to persuade him to come to Celtic. For the future well-being, for the growth of Rangers, it had to be done. You know, religion, colour or creed should never come into it. They should be judged on what they do on a football pitch, not colour of skin or what church they go to or don't go to.
Esta es una situación que el legendario jugador del Celtic, Jock Stein, usó a su beneficio desde los 60.
Like many of the major figures in Celtic's history, Stein was not a Catholic and was not, did not have that whole Irish connection. Stein had a great line, you know, that if he had a choice between a Catholic and a Protestant player, he would always choose the Protestant because he knew that Rangers, who did have a sectarian employment policy, could not sign the Catholic.
En 1967, Stein llevó al Celtic a convertirse en el primer equipo inglés en ganar la Copa Europea de Campeones. Sorprendentemente, ninguno del equipo que derrotó al Inter en Lisboa llegó de más allá de 30 millas de Glasgow. Uno de ellos fue Billy McNeil, capitán y líder de Stein.
We just wanted to win it. We wanted to win it for ourselves. We wanted to win it for the club. We wanted to win it for the supporters. And it was something that was great.
It was more than just about football. I mean, the whole thing was the triumph of a community that, you know, had always felt its backs to have been a bit to the wall, always felt itself to have been a bit looked down on, always had regarded this football club as a sort of symbol of what it was capable of achieving, all of these things, you know, and suddenly they were the best in Europe.
Celtic llegó a otra final perdiendo ante el Feyenoord en 1970. 2 años después, con el inspirado capitán John Grigg, Rangers corrigió la balanza de poder en Escocia al llevarse la Recopa de Europa en Barcelona.
I think at the time it was great. A city with just slightly less than 1 million of a population had 2 teams that had won European trophies, which was exceptional because I don't think any other country of our size has had that type of success.
La rivalidad ardía como nunca. Entre 1966 y 1974 el Celtic destrozó a Rangers con 9 títulos de primera división escocesa consecutivos.
It was massive because people have said to me often that it must have been easy after winning a couple to win it. It was harder. Nothing was ever easy. You had to keep your concentration all the time. You were a big challenge to everybody else. They tried to knock you off your pedestal. And it was demanding because you knew you were expected to do something good all the time. Big Jock was absolutely marvellous as a manager, of course.
Al Rangers le llegaría su momento y fue entre 1989 y 1997. Bajo Graham Souness y Walter Smith, Rangers igualó los 9 títulos consecutivos del Celtic.
Well, I think it's a tremendous achievement. There's been a great deal of pressure on it. I've said on many occasions that as we were going along the road, you came to admire Celtic's feat of winning 9 championships, more and more as each season went on.
Before I won, contributed to Rangers equalling that record with Walter after me. So that was a fantastic achievement. Any club to win 9 championships is outrageous in the modern game.
When Jock Stein's team won the 9 for Celtic, it was said in modern football it couldn't happen again. But you have to look at the teams that Rangers constructed then on a backbone of British players with special foreigners like Laudrup and Gascoigne. And that was a special era for Rangers that they may never get back to.
Y bajo el espíritu de la rivalidad, Celtic deseaba que Rangers no lo lograra.
I've got to be perfectly honest with you. I was hoping that they wouldn't get to 9 in a row, just like every other Celtic fan, because it was tarnishing our achievements. But when I think about it now, possibly it was quite realistic and satisfactory that they got to 9 and didn't go any further than that. That suited us because our record wasn't beaten, and probably suited them as well because they had done something likewise.
El balance de poder se mantuvo en un subo y baja, pero la llegada de Martin O'Neill regresó las cosas del lado del Celtic.
He knew what the old firm games meant. He was incredibly passionate about them. He'd grown up a Celtic fan in Ireland, and he certainly relished those fixtures and certainly got caught up in them.
Después, bajo Alex McLeish, Rangers logró 2 títulos en la última jornada. En el 2005 llegó hasta el último minuto con el título de por medio.
Wasn't aware of it at the time, but We knew that the helicopter was in the air, hovering between the two towns of Edinburgh and Motherwell. That was probably the biggest spine tingler that I've experienced in my entire life, when the Rangers fans roared on approval of Motherwell's equaliser. We'd all agree that it was one of the most spectacular days ever in Rangers history. The commentator's famous line of the helicopter is changing direction, I think will go down in folklore.
Es el previo rumbo a otro clásico Old Firm. ¿Cómo estaría motivando a ese equipo el técnico Gordon Strachan?
This is Celtic versus Rangers. Yeah. I don't think there'll be any problem. The world's watching you. I don't think there's a problem. It's no problem. It takes a life of its own, this. Forget whatever tournament you're playing on, it just takes a life of its own. You just have to win. You've got to let yourselves and the fans to enjoy the madness, because you create the madness and they enjoy the madness. So we've got to stay above the madness, which is fine.
Sea locura, nervios o quizás hasta mareo, de cualquier forma que afecte, el día había llegado.
It's all about pride, basically. I think it's the #1 derby in the world. They say there's bigger ones, but I don't think there's any bigger. You always want to put one of your closest neighbour, as they say.
My stomach is in turmoil just with the nerves going up in here. The 3 points don't matter. We're going to win the league anyway, but we have to beat the Rangers. Have to.
I think Rangers might get something on Sunday, simply because I think Walter Smith will let his team know that defeat is not an option, and that possibly their quest for second means more to them than Celtic simply ticking down the time to when they win the title. So it wouldn't surprise me to sit in the fence and go for a draw and say that Rangers might get a point on it.
60.000 personas dentro de Parkhead y muchísimas más alrededor de Glasgow. Celtic, los futuros campeones, tenían buenas razones para estar confiados. Los fanáticos de Rangers también tenían que decir. Y tal como dice la canción, Rangers anotó. Hugo Ehiogu le dio la victoria en Parkhead.
Absolutely magic. The best result in the world. See, when I got into work tomorrow, I got into work and I'm getting them dogs abuse, whereas if they get beat today, I'm getting dogs abuse. That's what it's all about. And it's all about your team and your courage and everything about it. Everything's mad and it's brilliant. And I'm glad we done them today.
La esperanza de Glasgow es que el Old Firm se mantenga como una rivalidad intensa, pero con humor y sin la negatividad, donde ir al trabajo y presumir que tu equipo ha ganado sea el mejor sentimiento, tal y como todas las rivalidades del fútbol mundial.
I've never had any serious problems with Rangers fans. Sure, there's bad, but it wouldn't be football, and it wouldn't be Glasgow without that type of thing.
Football is such an important thing in the people's life. They talk about it the whole week. They go to the stadium and they want to show that they support a team. It's a social thing, and here as well, Rangers and Celtic, they belong to Glasgow. It is so important that all the firm is there in a good way, you know, with the passion, with the singing, with the fans supporting the team, and as long as you can control it.
Con tiempo puede que desaparezcan para siempre las tensiones entre Glasgow y el oeste de Escocia, pero ojalá que las pasiones del clásico de Glasgow permanezcan intactas, sea un año victorioso para Rangers o para Celtic.
It doesn't hurt that Celtic have been dominant in the last couple of years, but you know, nothing lasts forever. Things go in a cycle, and I'm sure next year Rangers will be trying even harder to correct that balance. You know, Walter will do a good job there, and I'd expect them to put a far bigger challenge up next year.
Quien sea que domine, puedes estar seguro que esta rivalidad nunca terminará. Celtic Rangers, el Old Firm continúa.
I'm still looking for Rangers to win the Derby games. Yeah. I mean, it's been the last couple of years have not been so great, but in overall Rangers are still winning more championships than Celtic. So as long as it stays like that, I'll be happy.